All right, guys, we're going to go through Alfred. This is our path to the OSCP, doing TryHackMe. So the end goal is to finish this OSCP TryHackMe path, then to graduate over to Hack the Box and Proving Grounds. So let's get through this one together, guys. All right. So first thing we're going to have to do is start the machine. Okay. And we'll close that out. All right, I'm just gonna give that a second for it to start my machine. I'm gonna open up my OneNote. I already went through this one yesterday. It was a pain. Got through it. Now, if you guys are watching my videos, I recommend you stay here because I watch other videos on how to do this. And a lot of them are using other tools. They're not following the instructions here. And I feel like let's just follow the instructions, guys. I'm pretty sure there's other tools. There will be a lab which will teach me how to use those tools eventually. So I kind of don't want to go off the path here. Just want to stay on the path, get through it, and move on to the next one, you know. So this thing's still starting. All right, so next what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and open up a terminal. Okay. And in this terminal, we are going to prepare our nmap scan, which we will run to enumerate and discover what services are running on this box. So I'm pasting my selection here. I put in the IP address of the attack box here. So this is kind of like my Hail Mary right here. Hopefully we get something back from it. Just looking at my notes here. Yeah, this should give us the information we need. All right, good. So let's run it. And we'll give that a second. Now we'll be using burp. So I know you can use Hydra to do the try to brute force the username and password, but we're going to be using burp just because I know how to use that, and it fits our purpose, you know. So let's see here. We got ports 80, 3389, and 8080. All right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to open up. I'll open up Chrome for now. So just gonna open up Chrome, grab my IP address to my box here, paste it in, hit enter, and we get this web page here. Okay. Interesting. There's not a whole lot here. Guess we could run Durbuster against that, but I've already done this one, so I know there's nothing interesting here. But there is another service here, 8080. So we'll go ahead and type in 8080. Check the next service that we'll take a look at, and we're given this login page. And we know if we use something like burp, we can actually use intruder, pitchfork, and try to brute force the username and password. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So go ahead and I'm going to close this out just because I have my burp set up with Firefox. So I'm just going to use Firefox for that. That way I don't have to adjust any settings here. It's just ready to go. And so that should be ready to go. Let me just open up burp here. All right. Once I get burp open, get that brute force going. All right. Start my intercept. Oh, actually, there we go. start intercept, and then we'll go ahead and put in the IP address 8080. Drop that in there, send that. And if you guys have any VPNs right now, you know, if you purchase any VPNs besides the VPN, OpenVPN, you know, the one that they have us use, go ahead and turn that off because you will run into issues with that if you just leave it on. So, all right, so I just went ahead and forward that. All right, cool. So now we're gonna go and try logging in. You know, so let's say I don't know. I'm just gonna put in, you know, test. Obviously, this isn't gonna work, but this is gonna get us a history here. So HTTP history, and you can see that my post was here, and I sent the username test, password test. So let's go ahead and send that to intruder. And once we have it sent to intruder, we're gonna go ahead and choose our attack, which we'll choose pitchfork. We're gonna clear current selected fields, and then we're gonna select the fields that we want to brute force. So I want to brute force that username. I want to brute force this password here. All right, and I'm gonna add that. All right, so once I've done that, we're gonna go ahead and load our payload. And when I load my payload here, I'm just gonna do a simple list. C1, it's fine. All right, let me click load here. Metasploit list. Let me try that one. Yeah, this is the one we want. So Metasploit list. And then I'm going to choose my second payload, which is also going to be my Metasploit list. All right. And I'm just going to check my first payload real quick, make sure everything looks good. Make sure there's no spaces up here. You know, you want to start off with 95. You want your second payload to start off with 95. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and start the attack. That's fine. As you see, it's using 95 as a username, 95 as a password. In the world, people actually do that. And typically by default, you'll typically see stuff like that. Admin for password, right? Just gave you guys the password, by the way, that's it. So, you know, looking at this, you can see the length of it is a lot shorter than all the others, right? Those are 348, this one's 307. That's a pretty clear indication that it worked. And if we just right click and view the original session, well, in an original session, we can copy this, and what we can do is we can just open Chrome up real quick. I think this should work in Chrome. And we could view that original session. Oh, no, you know what? It probably wouldn't. Let's see if it does. No, it wouldn't. Okay, so we got to do that in Firefox. But anyhow, if you to load that, right? My proxy here. Forward that. Forward. Peak request. See if that goes through. Yeah. So as you see, it logged me in with that. So that works, you know. So now we know that worked, we're in. All right. So, you know, first thing you want to do is just look around, see what can you exploit, right? If you look at versions here, I looked at that, nothing of interest here. But what is of interest here is this project, right? So if you click on this project, and I'm going to go ahead and stop my brute force here. So I don't need my brute force running anymore. We found the password. I'm going to turn intercept off. We don't need that anymore. Okay, at this point, we can just work in here. Okay. I'm going to take a look at the configuration. There's some configuration going on here. Okay. Now, hopefully this loads. And it does. If you guys aren't here, remember, admin password. We brute forced it with burp. Okay, that worked for us. All right, so the description, we're gonna leave it empty. We're not gonna input anything here, right? We're gonna scroll down, and here we have this command. It says execute Windows batch command. Now that's kind of interesting, right? And you see who am I, right? So you're like, wow, I'm pretty sure you could run some type of command here because it's got who am I there. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. Let's see what we can get from that. Now, before we do that, there's a few things that we're gonna have to set up. And before I do that, let me go ahead and move back over to my TryHackMe page here, just make sure we're answering everything here. So how many ports are open? We've seen 3 ports open when we did our IMAP scan, right? These are the 3. All right, so you can answer that one. What's the username and password? Admin worked for us. Okay. All right, and then secondly, we're going to enter this PowerShell command somewhere within the website, which we've already found where we can enter that. And it wants us to set up a web HTTP server using the Python 3 flag. So that's probably going to be used to host up this PowerShell TCP reverse shell, basically. So let's go ahead, or actually it's going to be used to set the PowerShell TCP PS1. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. First thing you're going to do is follow the link so you can get that shell, right? So if you click reverse shell script here, it should take you to this PowerShell folder here. So yeah, you can copy it, but the better way of doing it is just to click here and then click on code and then copy this and copy the whole repository, because you never know when you might need something else, and I like copying it because look, they have something for Active Directory, like, there may be a time where I need that, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to type get clone and then the link. Now I already have this installed, but this is what you're going to do, and you're just going to press enter and it's going to download it. Now do know it will download it to whatever area this terminal is opened in. So if this terminal is opened in, like your desktop, it will download it to that desktop, right? I would recommend you open up a terminal from something like this. I just made a PowerShell payload folder. Just open up a terminal from here and run that command, right? Get clone and then the link and then press enter. And see, I already have it there, but if you didn't, that's what you would do. All right. So here's my this is supposed to be yeah, I want to say it's already here. Yeah, it says it already exists. It's not okay, cool. And this is my power up PS1. So if you dig into that folder, you will find it. Okay. And once you find it, you can go ahead and just grab it and just, this is actually the original folder. And you'll find it in, where did I find that actually? Say, might be shells. Yeah, it's right here. So you just want to copy that. I like to copy it out of the original folder and just kind of copy it into this folder I'm working in. And so that's what I did right here. So I just have it right there, right? You don't have to modify it, but we will be uploading it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna see, let me click back one. Do I have it here? No, I don't. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do it from here. So I'm gonna open up my terminal from here. I'm gonna set up a HTTP or what? Python 3, yeah, there's. I'm gonna run on port 9000. So setting an HTTP server so I can serve up this invoke PowerShell TCP PS1. Okay. And after I do that, I'm also going to set up a listener. And that's what we're going to use to listen for the reverse shell. Okay. So let me set up my listener. We'll set that up on port Let's see what port did I use last time. I used port 555. Okay, so NC dash LVP 55555. You can use whatever port number you want, but just remember what port number you use because we're going to need that info, right? And then you want to run if config, and then you can see my tunnel 0 IP address right there. That's the one we're going to need. And then just kind of organize your screen because, like, you can see I have a mess already. Here we go. Put this over here. This over here. Put this over here. All right, we should be all set there. Oh, it looks all nice. All right, and then they give us a command we can use for the input. You know, like if you follow it here, this is the command. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna just use this command. I'm gonna put it on the screen so you can see it. Here it is. All right, so you're gonna have this PowerShell script right here. You're gonna make sure that this IP address is your IP address. So let me check mine. I'm pretty sure it's changed. Yeah, it's changed. So I'm just gonna grab that. That's the IP address for tunnel 0, the one that you use for the VPN. All right, and then port 9000. That's the port that you're serving the web server from. So if we check, it should be 9000. Yeah, and it's 9000. All right, and then your IP address for the reverse shell, and you're just gonna make sure that's set with port 55555. 4 5s, okay. And then you're gonna copy that, and then you're gonna come over here, and you're just gonna paste that in right into this box. All right, and then after you paste that in, you're going to click save. And after you click save, you're going to click build now. Okay, I'm going to click build now, give it a sec. And you can see it's reached out to my HTTP server. It's grabbing this file. It's then starting a reverse session here on port 55555. And we're in. Okay, so now that we're into their computer, we can go ahead and get the flag. So it's asking us to get the user text flag. We know they've been putting the flags in the desktop, so we can just check the desktop real quick. CD, C, users, desktop. Actually, not desktop. Who are we logged in? Jenkins. Jenkins, desktop. All right, so if I CD into that, it's going to give me an error. Ah, dang it. All right. All right, no worries. Ah, snaps. Yeah. All right, cool. So let me expand that out a little bit. Let me see, can I use ls here? Not really. Okay, whatever. C/users. Hold on. C/users /Jenkins /desktop. Can't find path because it doesn't exist. All right. Let's do this. Let's see. /users. See what we got going on there. dir. We got Bruce. Okay, it's in Bruce then. So cd see, users, Bruce, desktop. All right, and we'll dir, and then we got our flag there. So if we type, let's go to which type, and there's your flag, and you're good to go. If this didn't work, check your proxy, make sure. Okay, if this didn't work, if you weren't able to do the remote connection, that's what happened with me. I actually had to check to make sure any other VPNs weren't on because I usually use a VPN, so I had to turn it off, right? Keep your OpenVPN on, but just know you can't have two VPNs on at the same time. It's, you know, maybe they think you're doing something shady and they just don't want you having two VPNs. I don't know. All right, just go ahead and put your flag in there. And we'll follow up with the rest of this, guys. So it wants us to make a reverse shell with MSF Venom. And once we do that, we're gonna basically serve that up. We're gonna use a PowerShell command from the current session. Okay, you're not gonna go back and deal with this anymore. You know, you're kind of done with that. Just keep it open because it's allowing you to keep the reverse shell open. Just leave it open, right? But we're going to be doing that from here, and then we're going to start the process shell name.exe, which will get us a Meterpreter shell. Now, why would you want a Meterpreter shell? Because they're more stable. You can use Meterpreter commands, Metasploit commands. Okay, it's just better than your typical shell. And the reason you're here watching my videos is because I'm showing you how to get through these instructions. Like I've watched other videos and they just go off beaten path and do something other than the instructions. And I'm like, okay, let's get through this. Let's get through these instructions the way they want us to. I'll learn about those other tools later, but let's just do this for now, right? So that's the unique thing about my videos is I'll get you through this with the path that they've laid out, right? So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna leave this one open. Let me move this over to here. All right, and we're gonna get that payload ready. Okay, so when you get that payload ready, what you're gonna want to do is you're going to want to make sure you input the information correctly. So let me go ahead and get that payload ready for you to see. Give me 1 sec. Here we go. I'm just copying it from my notes here. I'll copy it to a notepad because we're gonna have to modify some stuff. All right, first thing we're gonna modify is the IP address. Right, so we want that IP address to be our IP. All right, and so I'm just gonna like make this smaller and bring this over here. Okay, and the localhost IP address, that should be yours. All right, and the L port, that should be a different port from our current listener. So, because we're going to start a Meterpreter reverse listener, and so we want it to be different from the one we're currently in. So I believe the one we used earlier was 55555. Let's use something like, let's see, what did I use last time? I think I used 44444. Doesn't matter which one you use, but I just kind of like doing things the same because as soon as I do something different, man, I just start running into issues. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't have been on my own program there. All right, so for the shell name, they gave us shell name. I think I'm missing a part here. Nah, no, we're good. We're good. So for shell name, you could just name it shell. Okay. All right, here we go. Shell dash name. All right. So everything looks good here. We're ready to rock and roll. Let's go over to our folder here. You can see I already have one right there. I'm gonna basically overwrite it because the one I made last time, obviously the IP address was different. So I'm gonna copy my command here. I'm just gonna paste it here. Make sure this is in the folder you're working from, that always gets me. All right, and then once you're ready, just go ahead and press enter and give it a sec. And then once it's finished, you're gonna want to take the size of that payload and put it here because that's what they're requiring. I could understand why other people would use different like shells and stuff. Something like Empire and other types of shells. But I don't plan to do that. Okay, it looks like we ran into a little issue here. Must have done something wrong, huh? Let's see. Well, that size looks correct. Dash O. I do see something that kind of looks fishy. It looks like I might have missed that dash O. I don't see that dash there. So let me try running that again. And let me verify my command real quick. Yeah, so somehow my dash O, that dash got removed. Okay, so let me put the dash in there. And I'm gonna try running it again. I'm just gonna overwrite it. Hopefully that works. Selection. All right. Yeah, that's better. So we didn't get the execution of the actual script here, so looks like it actually worked. Perfect. All right. All right, so let's serve this thing up. We already have our HTTP server running on port 9000, so we can leave that. We have our shell here in this folder, which is the same one that we're serving up the web server from. That's important. So if you have it somewhere else, make sure you have it in the same folder as your web server. And then we still have our session. So looks like we're pretty much good here. What we're going to do next is we are going to insert the PowerShell command that they told us to run to get that MS Venom shell and to run it, right? So they give us this command here that we can enter. All right. Let me just verify my command's good. Don't run into any issues here. All right. So I took that command, I pasted it, I put it right here. And now I'm just verifying the IP addresses and everything are good. Now, obviously, I need to update that here. So let me update that real quick. Okay, that looks good. Web servers on 9000. Shell name. .exe shell name. Okay. Now, obviously, my shell name, it has a dash in the middle, so let me make sure I put that dash there. Otherwise, we would have a bad day. All right, I'm gonna let it run. Go here to our current session, paste it in, press enter, and then we should see a 200 here. If you see any errors, then it didn't, something's wrong, right? So I didn't see any errors. Seems to have worked. The only thing we forgot to do was start our Metasploit, of course. So let's go ahead and start the Metasploit. I got excited because I'm like, yes, we're getting shell. All right, so let's start up Metasploit here. We'll rerun it, not a big deal. MSF console. All right, and they give us like this whole line of commands that will not work if you do it that way. You have to run it individually. So let me show you how to do that, all right? So first thing we're going to do is we are going to use exploit multi-handler. All right, paste that in, press enter, and then we're set to using the multi-handler. Now the multi-handler lets us make a more stable shell, right? And then next we're going to set payload Windows Metasploit reverse TCP. So this is a more stable Windows reverse TCP shell. So we're just specifying that. If you had Linux, you'd specify Linux, right? So actually that probably wouldn't work. So yeah, I'll give it a try. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it does. Okay, so payload equals, and then you can see. If you see any errors here, then you probably didn't put the command in correctly. All right, and then next you're gonna use set lhost and then your IP address. So we'll just copy this portion here, and then I'll manually type in the rest, of course. And then I'll put in my IP address, which I can just copy from this little notepad I have. Oh, well, not anymore. So yeah, just grab your notepad that you had. So just paste that baby in. 10.9.0.42 the lhost, and you can see the lhost set right there. And then the next command it wants us to run is going to be the out port, right? The listening port. So we'll go ahead and set that, and it's just going to be L port, set L port, and then a space, and then your listening port. Paste in that. And if we remember, our output was here. So you should have specified it here. I believe it was it, did I set it to 4444? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Okay. So 4444. All right. All right, so everything's set at this point. So now if you click run, or you type run or exploit, it'll start that reverse TCP handler. And then now if we run it, we run that PowerShell script we just ran. All right, let me just copy what I had here, rerun it, copy. Should get access. Okay, this is not good. That did not give me access. So it got the shell. Yeah, Figured out why that didn't work. It's a stage payload, so we staged it, and then next we've got to run it, of course. If I had read the instructions, I'm pretty sure you guys caught on to this before I did. That was the next step, right? So this was this next step. All right, so to be honest with you, my notes could have been better. All right, so we'll run it and we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna run it and see if it did anything. Yep, we're in. We're in. Sorry guys for my mess here. I gotta clean this up, don't I? So let me go and put this away. Put this up here since we're all looking at this. Move this a little bit. Payload thing, we don't need to care too much about that. Right? And then this command, I always like putting my notes in the comment section for you guys. I'm the only one that does that. I don't know anyone that else does that, you know? All right, cool. So put that there. All right, so now we got this Meterpreter shell, which gives us more functionality, right? The functionality we need to do what they ask us to do here. So let's look here. So you could answer that one. It was the size of our shell, right? Which I think I put it away. Let me see. It was like one of my terminals. Could have swear I showed you guys already. Come on. Here it is. Okay. So yeah, if you look at the size here, so 73,802. So you just take that number and just drop it right there, right? Minimize that, and then we're doing privilege escalation. All right, and then if you read this, it's basically saying that if the way the tokens are set up is configured incorrectly, and it allows you to do the SE impersonate privilege and SE assign privilege, primary privilege, when those privileges are, those configurations are like misconfigured basically, and it allows you to impersonate a token, right? So that's pretty much it, right? Configurations not done correctly allows you to SE impersonate, and therefore you can't impersonate the token. Now you can only imagine what token we will be impersonating, maybe the admin token. We'll see. All right, and in order to see the settings, we have to run the command they gave us here, which is whoami space /priv. So if I minimize this, and we still have our old session up, let's go ahead and let me just try minimizing some of the stuff. We don't need the HTTP server anymore, so we'll just minimize that. We don't need the we don't need that open anymore, so we could just minimize that too. We just kind of like expand these because I'm gonna be using these. All right, and this one on the left, this was our first reverse shell here. I'm just going to type in the command whoami space /priv. And then it's going to give me all the settings. Now, I'm probably going to have to run this one again because I don't like how it looks. It just looks really messy. There we go. And we can look here and see that the two settings that shouldn't be enabled are enabled. So we could SE impersonate privilege tokens. So we'll do that. Let's do it. All right. So next thing we're going to need to do here is just type in use incognito. All right, it says using incognito success. All right, and then if I go here, I'm just gonna Google how to use incognito. And sure, you can do help, but I mean, help, I don't know, just mode in Meterpreter. It takes us to the offensive security page, which I'll show you. And this is actually how I did this. I actually was able to do this myself because I just typed it in here and I was like, how do you use this? And they had an offensive security page here and I was like, awesome. And I just read through this and I was like, okay. So it says use incognito, got it. List the tokens, got it. Oh, impersonate the token. Okay, gotcha. Get UID. Um, got the UID. And then get the shell, right? And you got the shell. So this is pretty cool, guys. If you guys get stuck, you know, don't be afraid to Google things. Google is your friend. Okay. I didn't watch a video for this one because no one else was following the instructions. They were like, oh, I'm just gonna use my own tool. I'm just on my own program. And I'm like, okay, cool. So next I'm going to type list tokens. And space for a space tac golf is a G. And then it lists all the tokens that we can impersonate. And you can see the administrator token is like the first one, right? You're like, all right, gotcha. And I'm just gonna copy these commands for you guys as well, so you guys are good. I'm copying the ones that you guys could probably mess up, you know, just saying, hey, would I mess that up? Yeah, okay, I'll copy it for them. Because I know I would totally mess that up. All right, so next we're gonna impersonate token built-in administrator. This one, oh my God, guys. If you don't type this in correctly, you will have a bad day. I'm telling you. Like I had such a bad day because I kept typing it in wrong, you know. And guys, I want you to get through this. I want you to get through this with me. Let's get through this together, okay? So please like and subscribe. I have 56 subscribers right now. Those rookie numbers, we gotta get them up, guys. We gotta get them up. Gotta get them up higher. You know, every time I get a subscriber, I'm like, yes, time to make another video. You know, let's get this. Let's get the OSCP together. We'll get through this. Come on. All right, guys. So type in this command. I'm just gonna go ahead and run it. See if it works for me. Oh, and then, look, I already messed up. I already messed up. You know why? Because I forgot 2 forward slashes. 2 forward slashes. Even says here on their little instructions, if you don't put 2 forward slashes, you're gonna have a bad day. You see this? It pretty much says that. Where does it say that exactly? Oh, here it is. Command, note, 2 backslashes. Says it right there. So I put 2 backslashes, then administrator. Okay. And you run it, and then it says I messed up. Of course I did. So I probably did something wrong here. Let me go on and fix this. Okay. Let me see. Can I do the upward arrow? I can. Yes. Right. So where did I mess up? Huh. Oh no, I made such a rookie mistake. I can't believe this. Can't believe I forgot the I in the administrator. Oh, what the heck? I think I put a double in too. Oh my gosh. Now I got 2 I's. All right, let me delete one. All right, let's run it. All right, cool. So I successfully impersonated the administrator. I'm pretty sure he has a beard and everything. I don't know how I would be able to fully impersonate him. All right, cool. So now what we're gonna do is we're just going to paste that baby in there. And you can just copy and paste it if you want to just, not stress out and do typos like me. Not like it took me an hour to figure that out. All right, so now we're gonna type get UID so we can see who we're using right now. Get the user ID, and we are keying. All right, cool. So next, what we're gonna do is we're going to migrate to a service that is actually using uh, like admin privileges. Okay, that's basically what they tell us to do because currently the way that we're impersonating the administrator doesn't give us the full administrative privileges that we need to um, do admin stuff. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to migrate to a process that is, and they tell us to use services.exe. So let's go ahead and do that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type ps services.exe. And I'm gonna list out the PID, that's the process ID for the service. You can see it's 668. All right. And then we're gonna migrate to that service 668. And now should migrate us. And now I am the Senate. Good. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to ls. God, I love this about this shell is that you can actually use, like Linux commands. And it wants us to then look for the flag. So we have to look for the flag and go flag hunting, but it pretty much gives us the location. So I'm just going to go straight to it, guys. We're not going to waste time here. Not like I just wasted like time. All right, so you're gonna have to type cat and then double quotes C / Windows system 32 config root .text. All right, cool. So when I run this, it should give us the flag, and it did. So that's your flag, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. You can go ahead and grab that flag and then just go ahead and put it in there. And then after you're done, you can like subscribe to my video because I hope to make more, and no man left behind. Can't leave anyone behind. We got to make sure we all get through this together. And if you want to get through this together, please like and subscribe so we can make more videos. All right, peeps. Danny out.